isn't the answer. Could you repeat the question? Hello, I'm Pat Coakley, and welcome to Podsnacks, Art of the Diet, the weekly podcast that each week tries to ask the right question about how to maintain a significant weight loss. You can access all of the episodes on www.artofthediet.com. Hello, it's Pat Coakley, and it's episode 145 of Podsnacks, www.artofthediet.com. Okay, so I've given Art of the Diet and this podcast and my whole maintaining a significant weight loss for 8 and 9 years, a lot of thought in the last week. And one of the things I know I'm going to do is take a break from weekly live podcasts. But I'm not going to continue with this material. I'm just going to edit 144 episodes and see if I can come up with a book form or at least a PDF form of strategies and humor and observations that I myself would like to take a look at different points in a week when my motivation is flagging or I'm, putting the white flag up and saying, those hormones, leptin and ghrelin, they're winning. And they're not winning, but I do think that 3 years, and it will be 3 years in August that I started this weekly podcast, and 1 full year of writing about it, which was 2015. So I've got a lot of material, and I've, as they say, been to this rodeo for many, many years now, and have just simply enough material to take a look at to see what's worth listening to again and what perhaps I don't need. The behind the scenes of a podcast is that, I pay a podcast service to store these, to have an archive of them. And as you know, I'm watching my pennies. And one of the goals I have is to try to make more revenue for my retirement. And part of that making more revenue is going to be cutting down on some expenses that I have now. So I'm going to take a look at what's valuable in the Art of the Diet archive over the summer, or at least until the anniversary of the first Art of the Diet, which is approximately August 15th. But in the meantime, I am going to replay, because my plan is every week until August 15th, I'm going to re-listen to certain podcasts, starting at the beginning. And I'm going to try to put an asterisk next to those that I think I would myself like to listen to 9 years out. And so I'm going to rebroadcast every Wednesday one of the ones that I think is still pertinent, still relevant to somebody who just signed up for the podcast, that they might get something from it. the good news is that for 2015, all of the broadcasts for 2015 does not mention politics, at least political, Democratic, Republican kind of politics. There's a lot of sexual politics because weight issues are most definitely part of that system. But so for those of you who bristle a bit with my Democratic leanings, and you're still here, most of you are not, you'll have a little break from that because this was before the world was all effed up. And so it's 2015 that'll be the initial focus. And then there'll obviously be 2016, 2017. And then we're into 2018 now. So I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get through all of them by August, but I think I will have a sense by that anniversary date of what I want to do in the future with this live broadcast. I'm not sure about it. I have a feeling that the best value I have has already been recorded, and I do have to focus in on some other creative things that might give me some revenue. Oh my God. Really, folks, if you're young, please do save and make time for your retirement because really, everything goes up. Everything costs more. So I know I'm going to have to continue to maintain my weight. There's no question about it. And I will occasionally perhaps have something new to say about it. And if so, I will. But for right now, I'm going to go in the editor mode, put on my green visor, and I'm going to try to listen to episode 1 right up through at least 2018 and get a sense of what's still relevant and what's still worth listening to. And if any of you out there have particular episodes that you've liked and that you know the number of them, like what was the episode number, do email me at ArtoftheDiet@gmail.com. I can tell from my statistics which ones were listened to the most, but I would appreciate knowing if there was a particular one or series that had some relevance to you that was helpful. Because the bottom line is, the reason I started this was to figure out why in heck I was able to maintain a significant weight loss for 5 years when I've never been able to do that before. And, you know, now it's approaching the 9th year of doing it. And so obviously there's something that I've done in the past few years that I'd not been able to do before. And I guess I'm going to just try to cull this material down into what that distinguishing pattern was for me this time. So if you have any memory of a particular episode or series, I've done so many really on, you know, habits themselves, on, you know, sugar, no sugar, bread, no bread. There's just been a lot of material. So you're, excuse me, you're forgiven if you don't remember a specific episode, but if you do, I'd love it if you'd pass it along at ArtoftheDiet@gmail.com. And you know what? I'll probably still occasionally publish something. Excuse me. I'm going to have to take a sip now. on Facebook, but the more I think about Facebook and weight management, the less I think it's a match in terms of privacy and in terms of just overall match. I recently, I'm part of a group of people trying to establish their online businesses, because you know that I've got the photogardener.com and am trying to make a go of that. And there are some other people who have different areas of specialty that they're trying to make a business of. And many of them are fitness people, health people, diet folks. And one of them was asking for the group for advice about how she put out her value proposition for her health program, which she did. She gave the highlights, and I basically didn't agree with her premise, and I shared it and shared what I thought she could focus in on, because I thought she had a sense of, as any veteran does, that this is not a quick fix, and it is something that the body really, we have to realize that our body sometimes doesn't want us to just retain the weight loss. It wants to gain it back. So anyway, I thought she had that knowledge, but as it turned out, her experience was very different than mine. And she basically thought it was just simply getting your true self aligned in the cosmos and knowing why you had a weight problem in the first place, why you were eating the proper things, knowing the balance of food. And then she just made a comment about how it was, once all those things fall into place, it's an easy, struggle-free existence. And of course, she lost me on that one. And I thought, this is part of the problem that I find being a veteran of so many years, of listening to people who are at different stages, and they may think they've got the world knocked with this weight issue. And my guess is that the struggle reappears at some point, and she'll deal with that. But for right now, to put out to someone like myself that there's a program that's going to be, struggle-free once you get your head right and you're, eating correct and all of that stuff, I just thought, I just don't have the patience with it. And so I thought, you know what? I'm getting to be a crusty old woman. I just want to say, please knock it off. Please knock it off. Most of us struggle. Even though we know every damn thing about food and balance and why we eat, why we don't, knowledge is not the end result. It's how we use it, and we definitely have to use it. And we have to use it sometimes aggressively. It is not simply walking on a level field. It's often an uphill battle. And so I thought, you know what? I didn't extend any more advice to her or commentary or whatever. And she'll, probably be a big success. And, and I wish her well. I just realize from my point of view that this is an area that I know a little too much about, and it may be very particular to me. And I certainly don't have any plans, as some people do who lose weight, to tell people how to do it or how to maintain it. I'm just telling you how I do it. And I honestly don't think it's a universally applied set of principles. If they are helpful, I'm very happy, but I don't think this is a one-size-fits-all situation at all. So anyway, I just realized that maybe it's time to do some editing. I would honestly like to have a written form of these past 3 years and see if I can just help my own journey with the amount of time that I've spent thinking about it, forgetting what I know, relearning what I thought I knew but didn't. All of that, I want to see what if there's a there. So, bottom line, every week I'm going to rebroadcast one that I find to be helpful along this editing process. And if any of you remember one that has been particularly helpful, please email me at artofthediet@gmail.com, and I'll for sure star that one. Okay, so what is it? It's May 23rd, 24th? Oh my God, I don't even know what day it is. And I'll be posting this today, and then next week at the same regular time, I'll post a rebroadcast, and we'll do this pattern of rebroadcasting through this editing process. And then middle of August, hopefully I will have completed this. I don't know whether I'll be able to tolerate listening to myself this much in the ongoing months, honest to God. But I'm going to give it a whirl, and I'll see what I can come up with. And in the meantime, I'll every once in a while be posting on Art of the Diet, and hope you all let me know how you're doing and what's creative in your life. And I think the bottom line is that whatever I do produce from this, I am going to make available to you, my steady listeners. And I know that I've got the email list that, and for those on the email list, I will make available whatever the fruits of this are. I have to redo my email list, as I'm sure all of you know, because of this European thing that the privacy settings are going to change. And that's supposedly by May 25th. And of course, I haven't done it yet. But I don't have that many, if any, European folks, so I don't think I'm under the gun that way. But I also think it's just a good idea, to tell you the truth, to have people re-up if they want to. I'm sure some have been on my list since the beginning and have, long since not listened, but just not unsubscribed. So in the next couple of weeks, those of you who are on the email list will get a request to re-up and a statement of what the privacy is when I have your name. And also that those of you who re-up will get, I will gift to you whatever the product is of this editing. and we'll go from there. Just slogging along, as usual. And another reason I knew that the bell was beginning to toll for the weekly podcast was that there was a big brouhaha in the health circles about this, low carb diet regimen for the positive effects of it. And I just couldn't even read it. I said, I know that. Everyone knows that. And of course, what it was basically saying was that some of the carbs in a higher fat seem to do better. And I thought, you know what? A year ago, I would have read the whole thing. I would have read the comments. That I'm not doing. So that's another thing that makes me think that the ship of my state is turning in a different direction. So I'm going to take stock of where I've been, see if it's of any value. To those of you on my list, I will gift to you whatever the finished product is. But for now, every week, you're going to get a rebroadcast of one that I think has some currency for today, even though it may have been first published in 2015. Okay, so as my father would say at his ham radio, over and out. Talk to you later.